Namaste, I'm Samta Aunty, the founder and CEO of Virtual Preschool, where children learn Hindi through English. Today we're going to talk about the days of the week in Hindi. In this video, we're going to learn only 3 days of the week because learning all 7 at one time is a lot. First, we'll learn how to say today, tomorrow, and yesterday in Hindi. Then we'll do some practice problems to commit these new vocab words to memory. Then we'll talk more about tomorrow and yesterday specifically. And last, we'll learn the 3 days of the week, followed by some practice problems. Ready? So let's start with building our vocabulary. Day in Hindi is din. Din. Today in Hindi is aaj. Aaj. Tomorrow in Hindi is kal. Kal. Yesterday in Hindi is also kal. And in class, we talked about how to tell the difference between kal yesterday and kal tomorrow. Now, let's do some practice problems to reinforce the new vocabulary you've learned for today, tomorrow, and yesterday. If your answer is kal, then make sure you decide if it's the lal kal or the narangi kal. The lal kal is tomorrow and the narangi kal is yesterday. Again, the lal kal is tomorrow and the narangi kal is yesterday. First problem, Hindi class is today. How do we say today in Hindi? Is your answer aaj, lal kal, or narangi kal? Today in Hindi is aaj, right? Aaj is how we say today in Hindi. If yesterday was Choti Diwali, then when is Diwali? Remember, Choti Diwali is the day before Diwali, so then the answer would be aaj, today. If today is December 24th, then when is Christmas? Is it aaj? No, because aaj means today, as we saw in the last two problems. Is it lal kal? Lal kal means tomorrow. If today is December 24th, then when is Christmas? So our answer is lal kal, tomorrow. If the birthday party was yesterday, when was it? Which one of these words is yesterday? It's narangi kal, right? Narangi kal is yesterday. If yesterday was the last day of summer break, when is the first day of school? Let me ask the question again. If yesterday was the last day of summer break, when is the first day of school? That means the first day of school is today, right? And how do we say today in Hindi? Aaj. Aaj is how we say today in Hindi. The kids went to the amusement park yesterday. How do we say yesterday in Hindi? Narangi kal is yesterday. We're going sailing tomorrow. Which one of these is tomorrow in Hindi? It would be lal kal. Now that we've practiced the vocabulary, let's apply these words to full sentences. Remember, you can tell the difference between kal, tomorrow, and kal, yesterday from the context, which means from the other words in the sentence, as we talked about in class. And even more specifically, those other words that we're referring to are the verbs. So in English, we would say Diwali is tomorrow and Diwali was yesterday. The key words are is and was. The way to say is in Hindi is hai, and was in Hindi is tha. Diwali is tomorrow means it hasn't happened yet, and Diwali was yesterday means it's already happened. So to say Diwali is tomorrow in Hindi, we would say Diwali kal hai. And to say Diwali was yesterday, what would we say? Diwali kal tha. Let's do another example. How would you say Christmas is tomorrow? Christmas kal hai. And how would you say Christmas was yesterday? Christmas kal tha. Now, let's put more sentences together, starting with asking the question, when is Halloween? Now, this is a question that you should know how to ask from previous lessons in class. So how do we say, when is Halloween in Hindi? Halloween kab hai? Halloween kab hai? How would we say Halloween is tomorrow? Halloween kal hai. Halloween kal hai. How would we say Halloween was yesterday? Halloween kal tha. Halloween kal tha. Let's do another one. When is Raksha bandhan? How do we say this in Hindi? Raksha bandhan kab hai? Raksha bandhan kab hai? How do we say Raksha bandhan is tomorrow? We say Raksha bandhan kal hai. Raksha bandhan kal hai. And how would we say Raksha bandhan was yesterday? Raksha bandhan kal tha. Raksha bandhan kal tha. Now, let's practice days of the week. In class, you learned Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Sunday is, how do we say Sunday in Hindi? If you said Ravivar, very good. Ravivar is Sunday in Hindi. How do we say Monday in Hindi? If you said Somvar, very good. Monday is Somvar. And how do we say Tuesday in Hindi? If you said Mangalvar, excellent. Mangalvar is Tuesday. And again, Sunday is, how do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. How do we say Monday in Hindi? Somvar. Tuesday? Mangalvar. One more time. Sunday is Ravivar. Monday. Somvar. Tuesday. Mangalvar. One more time, just for kicks, making sure you really commit these words to memory. Sunday is Ravivar. Monday is Somvar. Tuesday is Mangalvar. All right. Now that you know Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday in Hindi, let's do some practice problems. So, if today is Somvar, then kal kaun sa din tha? If today is Somvar, then kal kaun sa din tha? So this question requires you to know what we learned today, as well as requires you to tap into previous lessons when you learned the word kaun sa. So what is the question asking you? If today is Somvar, if today is Somvar, what's Somvar? Somvar is Monday. So the question is, if today is Monday, then kal kaun sa din tha? And what does kaun sa mean? Kaun sa means which. Kaun sa means which. Okay, so we figured out the next part of our question. If today is Monday, then kal, which din tha? What does din mean? We just learned it today. Din means day. Okay, so the question is, if today is Monday, then kal, which day tha? So we know we're trying to figure out a day of the week, and we know kal means tomorrow and yesterday. But which one is our question asking about? Well, we see the word tha. So does that mean that kal is tomorrow or yesterday? We see the word tha, so does that mean that kal is tomorrow or yesterday? Well, remember that tha means was, so something that's already happened. which means our question is referring to yesterday. So what's the question again? If today is Monday, then which day was it yesterday? Great. So if today is Monday, then which day was it yesterday? That means it was Sunday, right? And how do we say Sunday in Hindi? We say Ravivar. Very good. Okay, let's do some more practice. Easter kaun sa din hai? What day of the week does Easter always fall on? Easter is always on a Sunday. And how do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. Out of these, kaun sa din is a weekend day? Out of these, which day is a weekend day? Again, Ravivar. After the weekend, which day do you go to school? You go to school on Monday after the weekend, right? And how do we say Monday in Hindi? Somvar. What's the day after Somvar? The day after Somvar is Monday, so that would be Tuesday, and Tuesday in Hindi is Mangalvar. What's the day of the sun? Ravivar, Sunday. Now, this is where things get real. Notice the English words aren't there anymore. So now I'm testing your memory. So the question is, if aaj is Somvar, kal kaun sa din hai? If aaj is Somvar, kal kaun sa din hai? So we're using a lot of new words that we learned today and previously. Let's break it down to understand what the question is asking. First, if aaj. Okay, what does aaj mean? We learned this earlier today. Aaj means today. Aaj means today. Okay, so now our question is, if today is Somvar, kal kaun sa din hai? Now let's figure out the next part. If today is Somvar, what does Somvar mean? Somvar is Monday. Okay, so now we have, if today is Monday, kal kaun sa din hai? Let's figure out the next part. So we're looking at the word kal. What does kal mean? You should know this, we've done several practice problems. Kal means tomorrow, and it also means yesterday. So which one are we referring to in this question? Let's go back and look at the question. The question is, if today is Monday, kal kaun sa din hai? So we have kal and hai. So is that referring to tomorrow or yesterday? Remember, hai means is, so that's something that's going to happen. So is our question referring to yesterday or tomorrow? It's referring to tomorrow. Okay, so now we have, if today is Monday, tomorrow kaun sa din hai? All right, what does kaun sa mean? What does kaun sa mean? Kaun sa means which. Kaun sa means which. So we have, if today is Monday, tomorrow is which din? So now we have to figure out the last word to get the full question translated. What does din mean? We reviewed this earlier. Din means day. Din means day. Okay, so now our question is, if today is Monday, tomorrow is which day? If today is Somvar, kal kaun sa din hai? If aaj is Somvar, kal kaun sa din hai? And what's the answer? Our answer is Mangalvar, Tuesday. All right. Easter kaun sa din hai? What day is Easter? Ravivar, Sunday. Out of these, kaun sa din is a weekend day? Out of these, kaun sa din is a weekend day. And notice that the words for the days of the week on the top are not necessarily in chronological order. So this is why I'm asking you to do these questions again to really see if you remember these words. So out of these, kaun sa din is a weekend day? Which of these 3 days is a weekend day? Ravivar, Sunday. After the weekend, which day do you go to school? After the weekend, you go to school on Monday, right? How do we say Monday in Hindi? Monday is Somvar. What's the day after Somvar? Somvar is Monday. So what's Tuesday in Hindi? Tuesday is Mangalvar. What's the day of the sun? Sunday, right? How do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. Now we're going to do practice without any of the words on the page. So we're really testing your memory now. Easter kaun sa din hai? Which day of the week is Easter? And we know Easter is always on a Sunday. And how do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. It's Monday. How do we say Monday in Hindi? Somvar. The birthday party is on Sunday. How do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. Hindi class is on Tuesday. How do we say Tuesday in Hindi? Mangalvar. It's Monday. How do we say Monday in Hindi? Somvar. The birthday party is on Sunday. How do we say Sunday in Hindi? Ravivar. Hindi class is on Tuesday. And election day is on Tuesday as well. How do we say Tuesday in Hindi? Mangalvar. Now, let's review the new vocabulary that we've reviewed today. Sunday is Ravivar. Monday is Somvar. Tuesday is Mangalvar. How do we say today in Hindi? Aaj. How do we say tomorrow and yesterday in Hindi? Kal. And how do we say day in Hindi? Din. Great work. This was a lot of new words and we did a lot of practice problems. You did a great job. Keep practicing. And now you know many more words in Hindi. Dhanyavad for joining me. I'll see you in class.